bam, 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 boom. Just talk, oh, just talk, ooh, just talk, yeah. Are we live? We are, yes. It says we live. Welcome to the Psy Tai Podcast number 88 with your host Ty, Santi, or however you know me. That's Ty. This place where we combine our minds with our hearts, see what our gut mind is saying, connect all those three circles, and what's another way to do three? And let whatever come out, just come on out. Just come on out. What did my earphones just say? My earphones just started talking. But yeah, I got some new wireless headphones. I went with the Bose, then go with the AirPods because that's what I see all around. And the reviews say, and that this is a little better. My feelings was saying it because I trust Bose more than Apple when it comes to quality. But yeah. Good times to be alive. Shout outs to all of y'all. Appreciate all of y'all for coming through. Because what we do in the Psy Tai Podcast is we go beyond the veil. We go beyond the regular thought processes of the normal man, of the normal woman, of the everyday rock. What's going on, Prince Pearl 00? We go talk. Yeah, it's time what we do over here. We go far. We dig deep, and we related to knowledge or so-called facts that have occurred in this world, and we tie it on out when it comes to aliens, dreams, psychedelics, neurochemistry, DNA, gene editing. All of those things come into play on the Psy Tai. Make sure the mic is on the Psy Tai Podcast. So never be afraid to speak your truth if you want to come on, or speak your mind. Not even what you probably think is truth at the moment that it's occurring to your consciousness, or that you're popping in that conscious thought of it, and you're like, oh, I'm not that sure. Just say it. Just tie it on out. That's what tying is for. It's not to declare statements, but to declare that I think, that I feel, that I move, that I act. And this is what I've been acting on. This is what I've been feeling. This is, man, I actually have I've been starting off with poems lately. I actually have a song by it's called Remind Me by Roke Soap. Y'all probably know it as the Geico commercial. But this is just the beat so y'all can know what I'm going to be reading. It go like this. Skip ahead.
It's only been a week. Rush of being home and rapid fading, failing to recall what I was missing.
And while that's happening, let me share this real quick
Send me aimlessly
on the Discord and all of that fancy stuff.
To knock on windows where
Love
friend no longer live. I have
with it. How you spell everyone? There we go. Where I go, there's always something to remind me of another place and time. Wow, 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 wow.
Stayed outside till 2, waiting for the light to come back. We didn't talk, I knew, until you asked what I was thinking.
And let me share this on the book real quick, then I'll be right there.
You asked what I was thinking.
Come on, scroll up. Scroll up. Scroll up. Scroll up.
Brave men tell the truth. The wise man's fools are analogies.
I'm gonna read the words to this because I kind of can't understand it myself. I love this beat though.
Knowing silence will speak for her. Brave men tell the truth. The wise man's tools are.
Alright, I'm finished sharing on all the social media for now. I'm gonna just let that hook come in one more time. And that song is right there. I don't want to get copyrighted too much. But that, but that song right there, I love the words to it. If y'all didn't understand it, hey, what's going on, Exile? Smoke after I read. Whew. It said, it's only been a week. The rush of being home and rapid fading. Failing to recall when I was busy all that time in England. Blah, blah, blah. Has sent me aimlessly on foot or by the help of transportation to knock on windows where a friend no longer live I have forgotten. And everywhere I go, there's always something to remind me of another place and time, of a love that traveled far and found me. We stayed outside till 2, waiting for the light to come back. We didn't talk, I knew, until you asked what I was thinking. Brave men tell the truth. The wise man's tools are analogies. Love you. Where your mom at? Brave men tell the truth. The wise men's tools are analogies and puzzles. A woman holds her tongue, knowing silence will speak for her. Brave men tell the truth. The wise man's tools are analogies and puzzles. And everywhere I go, there's always something to remind me. That song. That was a real cool song I was listening to. I was exercising and stuff yesterday, and the words was really speaking out to me. Because everywhere I go, it reminds me of another place and time. Like I'm just jumping in a different reality, or my imagination takes me to this place, then takes me to this place. Oh, that's the other camera. Just seeing what's going on. Oh, that's dope. I didn't know that other webcam was still there. But But yeah, a lot of places I go just reminds me of another place in time. Cause what is time and what is place when you're interacting with an object? I'm gonna open up the Discord. I as well want to show what these pictures that was in the. Y'all gotta check out the Discord, guys. We be posting pictures, memes, and thoughts that's on our minds. Where is it at? Articles that we run across. Let me open it up so y'all can see what I'm doing. So if you ever want to jump in and contribute to the wealth of knowledge that's being created, the library, the Tieberry, the Uberry, however you want to put it.
I like Tieberry.
Hey, Exile. I'm trying to find those pictures that picture you put of that guy turning around in the mirror. That was throwing me off so much.
Yeah.
I was like, yo. How'd your day go?
That's a skit. That's an old skit.
From where?
It's a mirror skit. The guy is supposed to be acting like he's walking in front of a mirror, but his mirror's playing with him. The reflection is. My day's great. How's your day?
Man, reflections. Hey, I'm doing all right. I went for a run this morning. I got my heart rate up, so I'm doing all right. And I was just setting things out, cleaned up, vacuumed. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I got a lot of things going on as usual. I finished those 2 books, but before I dove into those books that I know is going to take up a lot of my time, I was just trying to get out all the other stuff first. What's going on the top of my mind with the world? Because my grandmom yesterday as well went to another dimension. My great grandma. So she traveling on, surfing the waves.
Bless.
What she do? She was like in her she was in her 90s, I believe. So she was up there. She got to play a lot on this Earth playground before she went to another playground. And I got to talk to my dad and my brother. And I mean, not my brother, my sister and my dad's brother, my uncle, who I haven't talked to them in a long time. I talked to my sister, but not my dad and his bro. Man, his bro live in Atlanta. My dad's still in Philly somewhere. But he was starting to break down while he was while he was talking to me and stuff like that, saying, man, you was my brother, you was my homie, just how family is and everything. So I was happy I was able to still put a smile on people's faces during that time, because I was just laughing and still giggity. Like, yeah, everything is still all right. I'm happy that this even brought this connection about, because I haven't. Even though they do call me Casper, because I do go Casper the ghost on people. But it was cool. And my dad was like, I got to hear from my dad, and he was like, "Hey, how you doing up there?" And one of the first things he did, I was like, "It's all right." I said, "You still here?" Oh, did it cut off on the Discord? I think so. Test. Hold on. Test. Yeah, my microphone not going through on here. Hold on, let me reset the Discord real quick. Yeah, for y'all on YouTube, I got to talk to my dad and stuff. It was pretty cool. I didn't see him in a while. And then he's like, "I see you got your hair how you wanted it." I was like, "Yep." Wait, how do I get this? I'm trying to restart the Discord. I need to learn what that symbol looks like. There it is. They changed the symbol. That's what it is. Now I can open it back up. But death is something that a lot of us face every day. Alright, am I back? Can you hear me, Exile? There it is. I got
Yes,
the
sir.
circle. Awesomeness. But yeah, death brings about different reactions. It does bring about different reactions from people. And I was happy that I've been dealing with and talking to y'all and getting all these back thoughts out and having these questions about death and the afterlife and putting up all these speculations and explanations and experiences that have no words to them and stuff like that. I'm happy because now when moments really like is heated up here, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Like, I just still gotta breathe, and all the thoughts come through my mind of all the good times we had, and just times, period. Not even good times, but just times, period. Any moment that I can recall, I'm like, I want all of it. Just let me get all of those memories. So it was pretty cool. That was my, her name was Betty Johnson. And I was most when people people I was working with, they was trying to console me and stuff, saying, yeah, you know, she's just moving on, and people, they were saying everything that I already be saying to myself. So I like that I had that kind of company around still. But I was like, I'm gonna see her in my dreams. I said, I'll be all right. I'm gonna see her in my dreams. Best to believe.
Right.
And I came up with the best skit, Exile, that this is, don't nobody steal it, but I want to make an animation where people go to a funeral and then everybody take a bunch of mushrooms, and I want y'all to do this at my funeral. Let's put it like that. So if somebody do animate it, y'all know y'all got it from Ty. If I'm at a funeral, take some mushrooms or something so y'all can watch me get back up.
Yeah.
And start dancing around and partying. Nobody would know the difference. So everybody be on. And then when it's all over, they be like, whoa. What's that?
I believe that's an ancient tradition to go and trip at your family's gravesite.
Man, only the brave would know. But that's what I want to happen. Cause then I won't be filled with just sorrow, and it won't be filled with just people trying to get over it, and then it come out years later. Oh man, I didn't really process that emotional trauma that happened. I was trying to act tough. Like, even if I don't pop up, it will still have a wholesome feel to it. Where you'll feel where I'm at. You'll probably feel more. That connection won't feel like it really disappeared.
Right.
Alex at group. Let me see if anybody else got some info on that. Nope. I wouldn't know what to type in to try to Google what you said, but I believe it though. People drink and everything I was about to say drink at psychedelics, drink at funerals and stuff.
Well,
so why not?
We're coming up on the All Hallows Eve and Day of the Dead ceremonies, so it's right we're talking about these kind of things.
Shamheim.
So you could look up there's a voodoo holiday that they go and dance through the cemeteries, and they're all spin and dance as they're walking out of them, so the ghosts don't follow them.
So the ghosts don't follow him.
Yeah, I'm serious.
What would you say it was called again?
Well, there's a voodoo in in Louisiana, in New Orleans.
Uh-huh.
The Day of the Dead ceremonies. They go and dance through the cemeteries, go and play music and have a party.
Here it is.
I don't know exactly what it's called. I know that you give offerings to Papa. You give offerings to the oldest. I want to say Sinedai.
Sinedai.
Sam
I'm just throwing
Nadai.
names in the air. Sam
S-A-N. Yeah, S-A-N.
Got it.
E-H-I. He's like the oldest grave in the graveyard.
There we go.
He's the guy in Constantine. The guy that Papa Midnight in Constantine. He's the same character.
What about Papa Bear from Berenstain Bears? Alright, I got the thing up now. Day of the Dead Voodoo. Haitians on Sunday mark the Day of the Dead by gathering in cemeteries. Followers of Voodoo, or Voodoo as spelled in Credo, which was brought by, I want to know the particular. They just gave me a summary. I want the particulars. No, I
Give me the
probably had to
reference
find a
points.
PDF. Yeah. Here it is. Papa Gihidi. I think that's who popped in my mind. Is a psychopath who waits at the crossroads to take souls into the afterlife. He's considered a good counterpart to Baron Shamadi. Shamidi. We need King Oz on here. Where he at? They got these pronunciations down pat. Alright, Gindi. Are the family of Iowa that Iowa that embody the powers of death and fertility. Goody spirits include, y'all see them all right there. Pretty cool. All known for the drum rhythm and dance called the banda. In possession, they would drink or rub themselves with a mixture of clairin, raw rum, and 21 Scotch bonnet or goat peppers. Wait, what's that? Oh, the hot peppers. Whoo! Yeah, that'll take you somewhere else. People don't believe it, but it will. I got some ghost peppers growing outside. Wait for them to turn red. Fidi is celebrated November on All Souls Day, Festival of the Dead. Boons granted by the Gidi, not repaid by this date, will be avenged afterwards. Oh man. He's supposed to be the first guy that ever died in the legends and stuff. But yeah, he's like the Grim Reaper. That take you between worlds and stuff like that. That guy everybody's scared of in Western culture. So they made him into a straight up just skeleton with a scythe and stuff.
He likes tobacco, red and black, and rum.
Tobacco, red and black, and rum?
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Them fall colors too. Red and black kinda.
Mm-hmm.
Just for changing of the seasons. That's all it is. But it was weird when I was working, cause I was on a little the day, like when I heard that my grandma passed and stuff, like my like that whole day my psyche was already different. Oh, is this why it changes? I'm sorry, I'm just seeing something on OBS. Alright, that's a correlation. But when I said that, I started losing track of my normal sanity, like without really knowing it. And what I mean by sanity is I had a mask. I was cutting grass and I had my mask. I had goggles on, but I put it on my nose, and I thought that was all right. Like, I wasn't thinking twice about it. And the guy was like, those go on your nose, those go on your face. I was like, oh, they do. Like, I was like not here. So things was real topsy-turvy, and I kept seeing people outside of the side of my goggles that wasn't there. I was like, oh, I'm tapped back in now. I'm in my goofy mode, but I know when I'm like that, I'm really like letting go of a lot of worries, intentions, and stuff that I have to this world. Like, I gotta stand like this. I gotta think about this. I gotta worry about where my feet are walking. I gotta, like, it's just like tripping. Like, seriously, like a full-blown trip. That's why I'm seeing our neurochemistry and us messing with it, and while we're in these states, holding on to certain patterns or just going through, because, you know, a lot of people block stuff out, but I think that we literally training our minds to do different things now. And so I'm tapping in, and I'm really appreciating, because I remember when it was happening before, and I kept mentioning it on True Show, and the only one that would really respond to it was I was about to call him Ghetto, not Genesis, the other guy, other character. Oh, wow, I forget his name. Yeah, I've been smoking too much. But yeah, the other guy, but jump on, he would say, yeah, you skitzing out, bro. Because I would see people in cars, or you going schizo, going full schizo. But now I'm putting new terms to that so that it sound cool when you put it like that, but I'm able to really flow into it more and not be like, well, yeah, that's just something that just happened. No, it's not really nothing, but it's like, I don't know what it is either, but like I would see people sitting in a car that wasn't there, or a pole would be a person and then it would turn back into a pole, and but it would be like people, and I'll be second, like third looking and stuff like that, and then it would go back and I'm like, oh, that happened. I'd be like, hey.
I think part of it is that you are seeing an energy resonance, but I think part of it is also that our human mind tends to put faces on everything.
That too, but it's
Like
people, it's faces, and
see,
it's arms and legs.
Right, or yeah, bodies, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Trying to break down the reality to fit in our box.
I think that's the only reason we give alien faces too when we go on trips.
Right. Right.
That's how powerful the human mind is. Like, we needed to appear like this. And we even hear aliens say that. They say sometimes we appear in this form to appear to your normal senses so that you don't like totally freak out, or say we can appear in your world.
We wouldn't be able to stand it if we saw them how they were. We wouldn't be able to understand and comprehend it.
So it could be some other shape, and I'm just seeing it as a person. It could be something totally different.
There's this one Netflix movie that just came out, and there's these beings that live outside of time, and then they figured out a way to contact us. It's a movie, or I think it's a movie. This came out, and like at the end you see.
Yo, y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up, Piano?
Yo, Brianno.
Just Ty, what's going on, my dude?
Hey, it's hanging out with Exile and the fam on YouTube.
That's what's up. Yeah, I just got in here. I saw that, man. True Life's diving into the book. He's like halfway through God's Man of War. How far did you get?
I finished it, but before that, Exile was saying something. He was about to finish up something. If you can remember.
I totally forgot.
You forgot? All right. Well, Piano Key, I finished both books.
What?
I finished them in 5 days.
Yes,
I was like,
all right.
this is it.
Oh, man. It connects so many dots, right?
Yeah, he was tying like a mug. I say he's saying everything, and he gave me so much confidence because I looked it up, and the book was listed under occult books, and I was like, yo, so he really is putting it out in a different way, but he really is saying what's going on in the back of my head, tying this into psychedelics and the experiences that I'm hearing you had, that I had, and I'm like, yo, he just had to put it out like this, but it's still filled with so much information that oh wow!
Like you think it's UFOs, but it's really DMT and psychedelics. When he's talking about the shamans, and he's talking about like the quantum, like just the subatomic realm is a quantum realm. The subatomic, like the DNA, the consciousness, the fact that we creating artificial intelligence, which eventually we'll send out into space. It'll master time travel and travel back in time. It's mind-blowing, like, and how all the stories are telling the same thing. All the religions of a god, whether it's the Greek god Zeus getting with Sedona, whatever that chick's name was, I think it starts with an A, to create Hercules, or God impregnating Mary to create Jesus. But it's like, essentially, it's a godlike species.
It's all about genes, baby.
Genes, man. It's hard to explain, but you get it. You read the book. You'll probably read it more than once, because I know I have. Like, oh my God.
I was rewinding like 2 minutes when I heard something good. I was like, I gotta hear that again. And I would go back, hit that 30 seconds 4 times. But it's all about the genes. It's all about genes, expressions, and all the civilizations from the I Ching to the African civilizations. Everybody was just always talking about the genes. And I was going down and it being manipulated and different expressions. And I like when he was going about consciousness, that old science debate, like what brings about consciousness, the material, or did consciousness bring the material? And do things become more conscious, or do they tap into consciousness more? And I was like, yeah, the latter is duh. It was cool. And he was saying, and how I always be saying how the aliens is us and we just different in another simulation, and we want to experience something different. Yeah, everything, all of those stories. And like,
I was in there. We were talking about all these things. Oh my God! Thank you, man. This makes me so happy. I've been trying to tell y'all to check it out for years, and like for y'all to finally come around to it, man. It's like, I'll make a donation to both you and to our channel just for doing this, yo.
Hey, I appreciate that.
No problem.
But the wealth that it gave me, bro, I was feeling more connected and confident in everything that we all talk about and things that I listen to. I'm like, we on it. We sound wild, but that's because it's supposed to come. The Matrix making us sound wild right now. So that's how it's just supposed to be. But the world of the unseen and the world that's here, how people really been tapping into it, and how we going to be tapping into that more, messing with our neurochemistry. And that's what it's all about. Like, we manipulating our DNA right now. Like when I just took that mushroom earlier, manipulating it. When Piano Key took the DMT, but he was in another realm, was changing stuff around, came back now in different realities, but he can't really explain it because it's the same to everybody else. But
I really
the
want
cases
to be able to.
I
mean, because I want us to be able to break it down chapter by chapter. Like your podcast,
I need a PDF.
But you said you're open to having a separate podcast spinoff where it's just strictly dedicated to a group discussion of chapter by chapter of these books, because it's something that needs to be further discussed. And I'm glad that it's people that is our community discussing it, but it is something like I check the Reddit forums, I check everywhere that I can find just for an ongoing conversation about these things, and there's no one doing it. And I crave it, man. I literally crave it.
It's too high level. That's when I said, when I saw that it was labeled under the occult books, I started going back and grabbing all my old occult books. Right now, right here, I got the Golden Dawn book by Israel Regardley, got the Key to Philosophy by Madame Blavatsky. I was like, I'm going back into things that I always thought was pretty cool, but when I looked on the outside world, I was like, ain't nobody talking about this, so it must be not that important, but that's why I like that in the book, how they was saying how the UFO counts and the paranormal and stuff, and how it's been played off by science and things like that. I said, now I recognize when people be on the channel popping in and saying fuck science and all of that stuff. I'm like, because I was never on that absolute side, but now I understand it way more by knowing the history and how thoughts just came up, and it was literally just 1-2 people being like, well, that doesn't make sense, and and then going off rationality and saying, well, this produces better results faster, more efficiently. Like, instead of praying for rain, we can make an irrigation system or something like that, and let's rely on that. But still, the balance of the two is really how we're going to keep moving. It's really how the biggest is always moving forward. Like, I think intelligence does play a lot on what how aware you are in the game, like what you're really playing out.
Yeah.
Because they was getting the blood sacrifices and the blood rituals, and they was saying people bat an eye to wars and stuff like that. Like, blood rituals never stopped and sacrifices because people trying to get that connection back. And and the defense Department of America, we brought that up before. They are the grimiest people on earth.
Yeah.
They the grimiest because they right there in your face, and they just go and get all the technology and say, well, we're going to do this with it, and then we're going to disguise it as something else. Like, literally, the CIA formed right after the Roswell crashes and stuff like that, and then
see?
and they all had their departments, and then they all shut down supposedly when they said there's not sufficient enough evidence, but yet it was about to be a nuclear waste. Everybody was literally about to die because it was these UFO ships and stuff, or unidentified crafts that was in Russia, or it had control over the nuclear launch codes, and they really couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop it. It was as if the aliens was like saying, look what we can do. Look what y'all about to do. Y'all about to destroy everything right now. And they said the boards and stuff, like the control boards, was just glowing up just like you see in the movies.
And they talk about that stuff. They talk about, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, so we all are familiar with X-Men and superpowers, things like telekinesis, psychokinesis. I've read books on remote viewing, where I can be like, all right, here's an exact date, exact location, exact time. Tell me what it was like in Harlem, 1984. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, and people will close their eyes and they'll travel there. So it's just remote viewing, and there's people that go there and manipulate it real time or back time. So those aliens that were above, or whatever the case may be, like, it's documented to really happen. But it's also documented, like, telekinesis is real. Hypnosis, if you're familiar with DMT, is real. Like, all this shit is, like, last weekend I told you on your last live, I was like, yeah, I had a trip and everything went angry in the room, and one of the fucking paintings came off. Like, it's a painting that's still on the ground right now. You know what I'm saying? So it can manipulate our reality.
For sure.
I like how they call it the phenomenon. So, like, we're not necessarily saying UFOs or aliens or DMT entities, but it's something that's indescribable but acknowledgeable at the same time.
You can't not acknowledge it, and that's been the problem with a lot of things. We've been creating a science that's been trying to move on without acknowledging a whole area of human experience. And that's why we have now people fighting, and I think that's why even the soul spirits that created YouTube and stuff knew what they was doing with giving people a platform to get these other areas out of experience. Like, we know y'all probably not gonna write a book right now or do like the you know what I mean, things that sit and take months to do, but you can go and talk about your experience and talk about it with other people and connect with people that you never thought would have the same similar experiences, and now people can start paying attention to it that's on the so-called higher ups, or who vocal range is louder, like it reaches more people, so then it can really start making some changes. or operate.
Yeah, moving towards a
operate change.
decentralized network instead of a centralized
This is so exciting to talk about this.
source of power.
So many things to unpack.
Yep.
You're hitting all the points. It's like I can go on.
It's all fresh in my mind. That's why I had to go live. I said I gotta go live while it's all in my mind right now. Cause this is exciting stuff. When you talk about telepathy, clairvoyance, that's why I was shouting out Psych 55 when he said, thanks Todd for sharing your clairvoyance. Cause most of the time when you really in it, you don't really want to. Oh, you can't hear me? True? My mic not on? Hold on. He in the chat. When you really in it, you don't really. Hopefully it's back on now.
Discord, yo. This dude is getting a Discord.
On YouTube, Ty. Can't hear your voice on YouTube.
Discord.
Yeah, your voice went out. You can hear Exile and piano too. I couldn't hear you after. Can't hear your voice on YouTube.
Discord.
Yeah.
All right. Is it better
Probably
now?
gotta go out.
I'm gonna exit chat.
I don't know. I'm on here now.
Hold on.
You probably have to go out and come back in.
All right. Hold on 1 second.
I'll go check it.
Do 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 do. Test. Do. I think it's on now.
What up, though?
What's up with it?
Hey.
It's true life. How far?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
All right.
How far did you get, man?
I'm on chapter 7 still.
It's all good, man. Just finished both books, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I did chapter 7 like a few times. Like
I can talk chapter 7 all day. I can talk chapter 7, book 1 all day.
What was
That's
in
what
there?
we just talking.
What happened in that one?
That's the one where they're talking about DNA and gods and
the UFO phenomenon.
Just how they were making sacrifices. We were just talking about that. The blood sacrifices, the war.
Yeah.
The Aztecs and the old Tex and the Africans and
exactly what Ty was saying, and how the sacrifices they still going on right today, because when you go die for your country, they like, you don't want to sacrifice yourself for your country. You wouldn't die for your country.
Cold.
Sacrificing yourself for your country. But yeah, I said, wow.
No, I like how you put that, and that's how they put that. They put it cold as
cold and simple, just like that. Like it's just like you don't want to die for your hood. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't sacrifice yourself for your hood. This your hood. What you mean? Like,
and they said the participants did it happily back then.
Yeah,
like they ain't.
Right today, same thing. People that go to the military, same thing. They ready to die for this country, and anybody else for other countries. That's crazy. Still ritual sacrifice right under our nose. We can pay attention to it.
And it was only to the things that was already creating what it was. And that's why we can do something else nowadays. It seems like we can edit genes and do things in other ways without having to go that far. At least I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's trippy, man.
But that's what they was trying to get in. That's what the book was saying. Was that they was trying to manipulate that technology of the DNA, like they knew it was something, like they knew they had the blood of something else going through it, or the essence of something else going through it, and they was trying to manipulate it with their feelings and emotions, like with that ritual, like they carried that body all the way up that pyramid, still alive, and then his head would fall all the way down to the bottom, like it was a bunch of energy going on. But now we seeing with that CRISPR machine and things, editing genes on a whole nother level, like be able to turn around the G's and the C's and stuff, and the interdimensional play that's going on with that. It's wild. I need that PDF though, so I can like see certain chapters and stuff, like be able to look at them.
PDF.
So I could, yeah, see the words. I just got the audio, so I can just listen to it. And they, yeah. Did you get to a part where they was talking about how everybody was talking about DNA and all the cultures? They was talking about the I Ching and the 64 or something board.
Nah,
I
I don't think I made it to that part. I don't think it was in there. In like, it gotta be beyond that, because I'm like probably like halfway through it.
Yeah, don't it seem so simple to go through?
Yeah, it do, but you know, like I, you know, got to take time out because I've been having so much going on. So it's like once I get started, I got to deal with other things. But it's like cool to just, I had to like stay up like the other night just listening to it. I have to say, but it's been having me kind of stuck though, because it explains so much that you know we figure we already knew, but then it's like a confirmation.
Yeah, confirmation is out of this world. That's why I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I said now I have more drive to keep talking more of what I'm talking, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I understood everything. Yeah, because I
He said
understood
whatever
everything
it
was
is.
in there. Yeah. And that's just me still playing myself, but I love it. I love it because I grew up watching all the alien documentaries. I used to be up 2:30 in the morning watching stories of people getting abducted and people coming to their room and stuff like that. And then I was reading the books on clairvoyance and trying to practice it, telepathy and remote viewing, and learning about the CIA. Like even before this book, learning about the CIA and they remote viewing programs and things. And how they was working, like it didn't not work.
It's crazy. It's crazy because it's amazing how some people are just born with it. They born with it to where they're able to see these things. A lot of these aliens and stuff like that. And it's like, are they born on a different frequency? Or, you know, we would say it's the bloodline, but we know everything works off frequency. But is it the DNA? Is it the bloodline? Because yes, like it makes me think about like when you think about somebody, like if you go talk to somebody and they like a sorcerer, you know, a female, she like a sorcerer, and then you check her background, you know, her mom was a sorcerer. Her before that, her grandma was. They had these certain abilities that you know was just passed on through the bloodline. And then, you know, they get the abilities and they don't know what it is until like on Teen Wolf, when you just in the bathroom and you turn into a fucking werewolf and you trying to hide it from your dad and your dad knocks on the door and he a werewolf. And you like, man, what's going on? It's like, well, I couldn't tell you when you got to a certain age that you was going to have these certain abilities.
Stop talking about me. While you was talking, I just kept getting all these visions. It said, yeah, your mom is. Yeah, your grandmom is like that. Yeah, you've been sad about that. Yeah, they've been these magicians and you've been seeing them put their power to the church. Yeah, you've been the one coming up with all these ideas and it seemed like they was fighting it, and then I was literally became another person. Like that was part of my depression, that I felt the division in my psyche or something, that I was putting on an act for everybody. But I was really having all these visions. I was like, they used to say, why don't you call me that often? But I used to be like, I felt like I was just talking to you in my mind, and you was responding in ways that was similar to that you would respond, and I was comfortable with it. But then I was made to not be comfortable with a lot of things that was going on. And then it wasn't until psychedelics that erased all of those thoughts, all of those things. and now I'm talking and stuff with y'all, preparing and putting all these breadcrumbs back. Because it's true, it seemed like Tom, well, it don't seem like, I'm getting rid of all those words. Tom really be flipping and flopping, I think, way more than we realize. And I think once we don't act like we understand something, like when I was talking to you before, all this stuff gets thrown in away. Like you get thrown back in the past to a time where you forgot that thought you just thought about. And like, oh, if I just remembered that, I would have never went through this. Like, yeah, literally, you would have never been through.
Yeah, I would have never went through it.
So I'm like, I'm reminding myself, and I'm gonna keep on having fun with it too. So I don't become Loki or something like that.
It take like when you like really find out your special abilities. And you do actually go and talk to your parents. They be having the same ones. They just don't talk about it because it's like they were taught that, you know, okay, you seeing demons, you're not supposed to see.
Yes.
It's like seeing the pink elephant. Somebody see a pink elephant. It's like they not gonna say I seen a pink elephant. It's like I'm gonna keep that to myself because you're not supposed to see stuff like that.
No, you literally trailing the truth.
So, but when I go and I talk to my mom.
Did you cut out? Oh. I can't hear anything if you're saying anything true.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Telling the truth.
I know, it was a lot of truth.
Can you hear me, Gustav?
He was getting into my mind and talking it, and it was wild.
Yo, mic check.
That's how it is. Mic check 1 2 1 5. We alive. But yeah, I'm Professor X up in this thing. But True, I can hear you now. Your circle lit.
Oh yeah. The Discord be tripping. But yeah, like when I talk to her now, like she's seeing so many things, and it be like, wow, it kind of make you wonder. You taking your trips, you seeing things, but I just be wondering, like, damn, how was she able to see all these different things without even? Well, she did do psychedelic stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it's your bloodline, and I think that it's in your DNA and everything. Like what neurochemistry you running off of, and I think that's why a lot of our people that, like, especially a lot of African Americans dark skinned people, minorities, was able to get wrapped up in the church so easily. Yeah. Because they would say we are spiritual people, like we was always connected to the Wu, which I found out the Wu is a Chinese shaman. I said, whoa. So when I would be saying sometimes I don't want to talk so woo-y and stuff, that seemed like it's a mental block on me put by another magician so that I don't unlock an ability. So I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, I'm going to go all full into the woo.
Yeah.
But I think it is like that, because my mom would attribute things that she saw to demons. She used to go to psychics, get tarot card readings and stuff. When she was younger, she used to say she used to go see them, but then she said that was all bad and that it ruined her life because it introduced evil spirits into her and stuff, because that's what the church said. But then it's like she said she saw words written on the wall before by spirits and stuff that said, like, this my house, and she had really, like, awakening stories. But then she cut it off and stuff because, like, that's nothing but a demon. And you can't blame her for those traumatizing times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but
and
she waking
then
up now.
They say stuff like, well, when you go in there, you leave doors open.
Yeah.
And it's like, you leave doors open. Yeah, you leave doors open for them to be able to come in and attack you.
And manipulate you.
If they already can open doors and they controlling people and attacking people, then how is you going to leave any doors open that ain't been open? It's like we got all these weird ass traits or blockages. Yeah, these blockages that just block you from wanting to know. You feel me? Because you was already
It's a master magician doing that.
Yeah, master
magician playing a bit.
And then he was so raw at it. He taught the one person, okay, bam, and then put it upon that person to teach everybody else, keep them in line. So it's like everybody, you don't need the master to come out and say, don't do this, because the master already taught all the students to teach all the other students, don't do this, because if you do this, this is going to happen, or this is going to happen. So it's like, soon as you go about into that territory, it's going to be 90 people going, hey, what you doing? No, we ain't supposed to go over there. We ain't supposed to do that. And it's like...
And that's why I say it's levels to control over this world that I think certain beings have, or that we have in another way that we can put it. Like we as the aliens, or the outside, like looking back in here and changing things around, or being a magician and stuff. And just the human, what was built into our simulation. Like people have this kind of power, so they used it. Like McDonald's and Amazon and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's like it's like we, you know, through the psychedelics, we are in contact with the aliens, because these are ones that are not of here. They're not from here. Mm-hmm. It's not from here. The things we coming in contact with are alien to this reality. It's like, you know, you see depictions of them and stuff like that, but, and I'll be weird how some of the depictions be kind of spot on. But it's like, these are the aliens. We visiting the aliens all the time without even knowing.
That's what I had to say without even knowing. That's what the book was having me realize. Like, nigga, you are experiencing some shit. This is what's going on. Look. What? And I kept saying, yo, Piano Key kept sending this book to me for a reason on some angel shit. Like, yo, you gotta read this. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, wow. What? Yeah.
The angels, these were the aliens.
Angels, it's the same concept. Angels, aliens, like they're from elsewhere. They're from another dimension. Heaven is another dimension. The subatomic realm is another dimension. Space is another dimension. Fucking, you guys about a year or two ago were talking about fucking time zones, and like we live in different time zones, technically different dimensions. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though it's technically 12:17 here in Arizona, it's a totally different. The sun could not be out on the other side of the world. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just
No, it's a different group of feelings and everything. When I call my family in Philly, they always say, "You not tired?" I'm like, "No, it's like 8 o'clock," and they're like, "Oh," they like in a whole nother world, world. But yeah, the disclosure with things coming, technology that we have, and visitations, and them being played off as pseudoscience, and it's all coming back full circle. That's why I'm glad that we're doing what we do and that those books is put out. And I just want us, though, not us, like say we gotta do this, but what I'm doing, I'm really practicing honing in on these magical abilities, and not just saying, oh, this is just something I think about when I'm on the show, or when I'm by myself, or when I want to write a book and put these abilities in something else. But like, I'm really incorporating it into my being, of like, when I'm sitting meditate, like envision a place I never seen, or vision a place I have seen before, and like see what's going on, like let the scenery create itself, because I'm good at creating places I never seen before, but to get specific things, so I can be like, hey, I think you're doing this right now, or hold up a card, or hold up something, and I'm see what's going on. Like, I want to get to, I really believe that point is achievable, and that is being achieved by people already. I just gotta level up, get my experience points up, and really believe.
Right. Yeah.
Really believe. And when I was thinking that yesterday, I was getting thoughts back when I used to be on your show, last year on the show, on your shows, and I used to be like, man, I really believe this stuff. Like, they talking about it, but I really believe this. Like, I really always had that thought in the back of my head. Like, I could put out my hands and it could, like, make a change. Or, like, when I say a certain word, if I get rid of the looseness of trying to put it in English and really just have the intention of what's going on and then forget about the intention and then just go with the words. Like, I got all of that stuff working in me, but I just be pushing it off to the side sometimes. But what if, because I'd be like, I guess the thought would be like, I don't want to be crazy. But now, David Blaine was on Joe Rogan 2 days ago. And he was talking about how he was hallucinating. And I'm so happy. I was so happy that everybody got to experience the Blaine that I always knew was there. But when he put on his persona on his shows, you can't really see it. But if you study magic, you will see why he do what he do. But he was talking about his stories that go on and stuff. Like, he had a friend that played with, like, he was talking and it was still like reading an occulted book. Like, he still was just giving out hints. But he was talking about how he was hallucinating when he was in a block of ice for 3 days. Like, when he froze himself, and he was saying the hallucination just took over. Just like the buildings turned into faces, and like he saw creatures flying past them, and he didn't go in description like that much, but he and I can tell that he hallucinates a lot because he would talk about how he trained himself to stay underwater. And he would say that most people would think that once you blacked out underwater, like once you reach a certain point, that you're going to die. But he said you can actually be resuscitated. And he was just like laughing about it. Like, yeah, you can just pass out underwater. It's like trying to hold your breath long as possible, but you'll come back. Like, you'll come, it's all right. I'm like, he used to like getting out of his body. So his intuition is on another level, on top of his card play, on top of his cardistry, which I understand is still there. But I understand that me still saying that is another blockage for me to not really believe it. But I think, like, when you really, it's real. Like, it really is there. Like, if you can roll dice and know what's going to be there, like, it can be used for certain means. But I'm experiencing that in my own life. Like, things that people saying, like, even while they're talking, it can be something that I was just going to say. And then I was talking to my girlfriend's sister about it. I was saying most things that even if I feel uncomfortable saying it, I've still thought it. And then in reality, it would literally play out. Like, somebody will say it on TV, or a person will say it in a conversation, or they say it to me.
That be having me stoked when that happens. It be having me stoked.
I'm like, it's no denial.
Like,
and that's what
when like certain things you want to do, you be like, fuck that. Okay, like say it might even be something that you might need or want, and you just like, you know, well, I can't even get it right now. And then somebody will call you and be like, hey man, I just found this, and it'll be exactly what you was thinking about, and then and it's like, bruh, like, how did that just happen? You know, it happens like all the time. It happens all the time. But it makes sense because what you were saying earlier about the reality and how, you know, how things go out and play themselves out. And like when you kind of go with it, you already, like when you said you don't, like, I didn't call you because I already had a conversation with you in my head. So it's like you already, when you talk to that person, you already know what they're going to say. You already know what's going to happen, how the conversation is going to play out before it even get to it. So it'd be like, what's the use of playing it over again? And it always do that. As soon as you call, you say this, they say that, and you like, I knew they was going to say that. And it's like...
It does have me more content, though. Because now I don't feel like I have to try so many things now. Like, I'm not so, like, I gotta go do this. Even though I still do have a driven spirit still. But it's not a crazy, destructive spirit.
It's like, it's like now I begin to just do, because it's like once I think about what I want to do, I overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just do shit. I don't even try to think it or over, because it's like you put all these other different, build all these other realities around it before it even happens. And then, you know, it turned out to be one of those realities that you thought of. When you do it and just do it, you don't know what's gonna happen. It's like, you know, you just working off just instinct, like bam. And then it's like, okay, bam, I'm done. Okay, I just did it. I didn't go, okay, well, what if I do this and then this happens? Or this happens? Or what if this happens? And it's like you think of all these other scenarios, and it kind of puts you out of place with even doing the task that you was wanting to do. So it's like, fuck, just do. Yep. Don't even think about it. Just do.
That's why I'm liking the psychedelics. That's why I'm liking the psychedelics, because it's like it allows me to have that time to think the way that I think that I'm thinking. But then when I come back, it's like I don't have to think like that so much anymore. It's like, whew, I'm relieved. I can just run around real quick and things just gonna play out.
Yeah, things gonna just play out.
That no worries thing, but the worries do come. But, you know.
Then it's like you got a limited amount of control over things. You got like a limited amount of control. And I think really the control that you have is like you got control over how you feel about different situations.
Yeah. And I think that creates the next moment.
Yeah.
No. Exactly how you feel about it, but it's always how you feel about it. Something always gonna be coming at you in some remixed way, where you probably gonna be like, yo,
Yeah. I'm just watching the stories play out. Just some crazy stories lately.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah, you never know what
the
the
best-
tide may bring.
Nope. And the best way to fly, they say, is to not think about flying. That's how you fly. You can't think about it.
Huh.
You just gotta fly. That's what I always heard.
As soon as you think about it, you're gonna
And
be
when
like,
I-
humans can't fly.
I was just about to bring that up. I was talking to my Rastafari guys, and I was bringing up how I'm getting more confident, or how these thoughts come into me to be more confident in these powers and stuff that I be talking about, like clairvoyance and psychomancy and stuff like that. Like, I figured it out. That word psychomancy is when you're able to touch an object and get memory from it. Like, I kept trying to figure that word out because I remember practicing back in the day. But now I got that word for it. But they was saying, they was bringing me back to African traditions. They was like, yeah, you need to go with those thoughts. That was their first thing. You need to go with it. Like, that's who you are. That's who we are. They said the people back in Africa, they used to, in the ancient days, they used to fly. That's what they literally said. Like, the first thing when I was saying I was trying to get comfortable with it, they start talking about people flying. They used to fly all the way up to the clouds and then come back down, just with nothing. And how do you think they was moving those stones and everything around? So I'm with it, and I'm saying I've been with it. But blurring that book, why I really enjoyed it, is because they was bringing up the UFO experiences and encounters that people have, like alpha psychedelics and the neurochemistry that they must be dealing with. Because most of these people are ridiculed very easily because people be looking at their lifestyles like, oh, look at it, they a little schizo, or they think strange thoughts all the time, so they must have an agenda, or they watch too many movies, or stuff like that. Like, they believe the movie too much.
There's a really good chapter in there where they talk about the sick. They talk about people being sick. He was like, so before schizophrenia was a thing, they're like, oh, we can fix that with medicine, instead of listening to people with schizophrenia who are like trying to say, no, I'm tapping into other dimensions. And then how that's in book 1 where they talk about schizophrenia, and then book 2 they address how the brain operates, like how, like, it's stuff that we kind of already knew, like the whole brain chapter of book 2 you can skip if you already know that stuff, but like they connect everything as far as schizophrenia.
Yeah, talking about the upper thalamus and stuff. Yeah, the upper thalamus, the upper thalamus, the hippocampus, the pineal gland, and the upper thalamus, something. So yeah, and I remember, bro, reading those things when I was. Oh, what was you gonna say, True? Oh, I think he dipped out. I remember running across those 3 things in an old esoteric book that I was reading on magic. And they used to say, push your tongue against the top of your throat, your mouth. Your mouth. And if you go straight up at that point, you will reach your upper thalamus or whatever it is, in your hippocampus. And then they said it was like a triangle in effect. And they used to like tell me in the book to focus on connecting the triangle between those 3 glands and feeling the energy between them and stuff. And that was a connection to like experiencing more. Like I wanted to have powers and stuff and travel, have astral projection. That's what I was after and all of that. So that, but I ran across these other sciences where he's talking about that creates the hormones for your bodies and your feelings and stuff. And man, and now we see people with different levels of neuroactivity going in between those like 3-4 particular things creates a different human experience for them that most people don't understand. They created drugs to try to suppress, and and now we got psychedelics to impress upon it, like the serotonin, the tryptophan that's made in our bodies and stuff. Man.
When you say like your vocal cords,
dig this.
I'm gonna creating a different.
I'm gonna find out your Cash App, and I'm gonna send you the cost of the Exile was saying something. Oh, go ahead. I can't hear Exile. You on mute?
Exile.
Yo.
I don't think he can hear you. I don't think Piano can hear you.
It's all good. Keep going.
Hey, you keep going, Piano King.
Let me just check on something. No, it's not on mute. So what I was gonna say is, I want to donate the cost of the digital version of the book because only book 1 is available on digital copy. But it's still helpful to be able to like search. Like we can say a word and then you can like search specifically for that chapter and within that chapter. And I'm gonna do that, and then on top of it, I'm still just donating to the channel beyond that. But I want to just do that just so if we're ever talking about anything, like you and True Life can both go onto your accounts and have a discussion and debate about these things because it's dope, man.
Yeah, it's where it's at. Thank you.
No, thank you, dude. I haven't been this happy in a long time.
I was excited. I was excited listening to it. Like I said, I just went straight through it like it was a podcast. I was like, yo, it's like because everything they was saying was stuff that I ran across myself, and then they'll throw in some extra 5 bars in there, and then I was like, whoa. But yes.
And the stuff that we've talked about, and then the narrator's good, and then their use of words. Like, I hate the fact that, like, I know they could put out the 3rd book with no problem, but for whatever reason, they're doing it by design. I feel like they're messing with me because I'm, like, just itching for this knowledge. But they say stuff like, first off, the narrator is great, and then the wordplay is great. From the beginning when there's like, there's this, it opens up with a cargo cult, but the way they say it's like, this is technically the Stone Age times, but it's only the Stone Age times compared to the such and such. Like, meaning, even though it seems like Stone Age times, like the 1200 BC, and them being interacting with like aliens, but when it was like 1938, and them interacting with U.S. and Japanese soldiers and not realizing it. They say stuff like, what else is there? Like, just the wordplay is just very. It's perfect, man. Like I'm telling you, I've these books like, yes. I listened like 4 times.
Because it is the same thing that was played off back then that we calling UFOs now. They used to just call. They was talking about in other countries how they probably have a high rate of UFO sightings, but they just don't call them UFOs. They still calling them what they call them, the gods or little beings or aliens or whatever they call them in their culture. It's us that's calling them even unidentified flying objects. And
even when they see the Mother of Mary or Mother Teresa, whatever it is, on like toast and stuff, like I understand after doing psychedelics what that is and how that's happening. Like I've seen the
I used to follow
trees.
That. And it's not a coincidence. It's like an imprint. That's why I always wave high whenever I see a face. It's like whatever you are, like, hey, like you probably not that face, but you just wanted to show off like that, or I made you look like that. Like that's why that people thought they was making it up after a while. Probably with some frauds, but it was just like that. We are that up. Like they did make that up, but not the you here, like the you on something else made that up to happen here, like they make it unexplainable and leave you with a story, and then keep running the simulation. Like that's basically what it is. Like we in a simulation, some AI come and and then we get tinkered with, like the DNA and stuff, and it's just bigger than whatever we working on as human beings with our machines and stuff.
You just said machines. All right, so the book series is called Secret Machines with the K. I just want to talk about, I'm obsessed with the Matrix.
Bro, wait, real fast. You said secret machines with a K. That's why it's esoteric, because when you spell magic with a K, that's when you start looking up some real stuff. You start finding the Crowleys and the Golden Dawn and all of that stuff.
Well, I'm gonna have to dive in deeper, but peep this out. So in the first book, when they talk about like religion, they're talking about Adam and Eve living in paradise, right? And then the snake comes along and says, you can't eat off this tree because if you do, you'll be like a god. Like they reference the Genesis verse specifically. And so they do that and are banished from paradise. Now, if you think about the Matrix movie, when he says there's been like 6 different versions of the Matrix, and the first one was too perfect. It was a paradise for humans. Yep. And so they couldn't survive. They needed it. They needed the illusion of choice. That's, oh my God, man. And so here we are. Like, I have the illusion of choice of like, I can go to work or I can kick it with just tie. Like, but
bang,
it's quantum physics because it's just every choice is mapped out. Like every choice is mapped out in this quantum world. Like,
you know how mapped out it is? It mapped out is in this quantum world where it won't make sense to Tom, but Tom still makes sense. I was just watching the history of video games on Netflix. They got this new documentary out, and I was real tuned in to the guy that created the first adventure game that allowed you to make choices. And I was like, this nigga was on to something. Like, he was meditating, or he was just chosen randomly in this reality to make that. But he was showing to us humans that was nerdy enough that you have a choice, that this reality at one point didn't have a choice, is what I'm saying. And now this reality, you able to make choices. And then the reality keeps on upgrading and changes. He said he wanted to make it so it was called Destiny too. That was the name of the game, Destiny. And in Destiny 4, that's where things really changed up. Where he added, I think it was that the first game that had graphics on it? It was something crazy like that. But it was really story driven. It was all the first story driven game. Destiny PC retro game. But you can really, people out there on YouTube, like everything around us is really talking to us, is really getting us into this realm. Once you really get tapped in, like, don't fight them thoughts. Like, they really saying something.
Yes, they are, and that's really what's crazy. Like, when I got onto the channel, there is. True Life would always be like, man, the trees I think are aliens because they talk to you. And I was like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you this, man. Read the book, please read the book. Like, it's, I don't know, man. I am just lost. Like, I'm lost and found at the same time.
Hey, it is called the Lost and Found.
Yep.
Lost and then here go the found. PC retro. And I really do something else that's out there, that communication with beings and selves like that. I think yeah, I don't know how to really put it because I watched too many documentaries where they put people like me on the opposite side. But I really do have communication, like I believe on a daily basis with things that's out there. And I think it's because, and with the psychedelics, it has me recognized on this level that is me in that sense that it's hard to say. So it just only makes me more comfortable with it. Even if it looks different, comes off as higher or whatever it is like it's another thing. It's just another form of intelligence. And I think a lot of people have connections with that, but they fight it a lot. And when they work with it, it's just said under different terms, basically. Like if you into music and stuff like that, they say, oh, I was just writing this song, and then I just was inspired to talk about the world and how the world needed help and blah, 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 or whatever they want to say at the time. I think a lot of the inspirations that we have that's so-called out of the blue, like that, it came out of the blue. That blue is somewhere.
Somewhere. Now, hear me out, because they talked about this somewhere in one of the, I want to say the first book, because I've been feeling like this. You watched the OA, right?
Yeah, a couple times.
All right. Exactly. All right, hear me out. What you're saying is accurate, because they're like, yeah, so people have invented certain things, but ironically, these same things are being invented in other parts of the country at the exact same time. They just happen to get copyrighted, trademarked, and perfected by one individual at one point. But a lot of shit is happening in the world at the same time. Telephone, there's various things. So that's a fact. That's a fact. They addressed that.
Things that I've been through, things that I've been through happen on other parts of the world, where I was like, whoa. Yes. Like after I didn't act on it, or things that I did. Yep. Like when I had
someone else did it.
Yeah, I was playing.
Now. All right, so excuse me. So season 2 of the OA, essentially season 1, they're trying to get to the other dimension. They're trying to dimension jump with the dance. They're trying to figure it out by a dance. But in season 2, they figured out how to dimension jump because they were crowd-sourcing data for an app to solve a problem, whatever they're going to call a problem. If it has a whole bunch of variables and it's in like Instagram, what is that shit called for a formula?
Algorithm?
Algorithm. They're trying to figure out to solve the algorithm for jumping dimensions. So myself, I told you that I want to figure out the Inception machine. I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not. Like in Costa Rica, they're doing it, but they're doing it with like intravenously. They're doing it with a needle or whatever.
It's the bloodstream.
Yes, he did. But I'm mentioning that, like, I know I'm not the only one that's trying to make it into like a gas mask. Like when they put Wolverine in that little, or David Blaine in the water. I don't know. Like when they put him in there, and that's kind of what it would be like. It'd be like a float tank. Wolverine. They put him in like that tank to put his claws in, his adamantium claws. They put him in like this water. He's floating there, but he can still breathe. So essentially what I'm trying to create is something like that, where like something's on your face and you're going to be breathing, but you're just breathing in the perfect amount to just keep you in that other altered state of consciousness in the other world. But I know I'm not the only one doing this. I know there's other people that I have in my dreams, that I have in my visions, that I have. Like a lot of everything that's came to me when it comes to this Dimitri stuff has come to me randomly at dreams. Like I don't like just sit around and like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like someone's like, no, you need to do this. Or no, you know what'd be a good idea? If you did this, it's like, who's telling me to do this? Like these ideas just keep on coming, and I know I'm not the only one that's getting them, but I'm tapped in. There's others tapped in. And that's how the world goes. Like they're trying to get something done, and they've been trying to get a lot of stuff done. Like I'm sure Bill Gates wasn't the first person to have the concept of a computer or any. You know what I'm saying? Like these ideas are out there and they're flowing, like you said, out of the blue. But the blue is another dimension. It's a blue dimension, if you will.
Yep. It is.
Oh man, I'm so passionate about this, man. I'm so passionate about this.
I was trying to look up. Oh yeah, you brought up the Inception machine. It was this other movie called Other Life, where they was saying this guy was this lady. Let me bring it up for everybody on here. This lady was working on a machine, but it was a biological virtual reality, and it was this machine they would put on a contacts or no, they would put on a. I forget how it is. I don't know if it was contacts or something like that, and then they went into this other reality. But that's something else.
Man. Yeah, I'm gonna send this digital copy. They talk about Egypt so much, like how Egypt being like we're divided between like science, faith, like but there's oh my, I can't. I'm too scatterbrained right now because I'm gonna get too passionate. But I'm gonna break it down one day and just I'm gonna take the right steps. Put it that way. I'm legit about gonna make my donation. I would love for you to get the digital book, and we want to just dive in chapter by chapter, bullet point by bullet point, and just wake up our community, man. Like everybody in our community needs to read this book because it's not so much about UFOs; it's more so about DMT and artificial intelligence. And that's what it feels like you're interacting with is an artificial intelligence from another dimension. But what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and how book 2 ends, man, is so like smooth with it, where they're like, yeah, so pretty much you're just hanging out in your house, and then your distant cousin just comes to stay in your basement. I don't know. It's just the way they word that.
Your DMT family, like your out there family that you see.
Yeah. Every now and again, it just comes to visit you. Oh man, that was smooth, yo. I cannot wait for book 3. Fuck.
I can't wait till I write this Just Ty book. Put everything we experiencing and coming across alongside all this information and really wrap it up. That's why I'm thankful that we got the podcast for right now. To get all these notes down. So people can know still that we didn't just make this up because we wanted to write a book or something like that. But this is what we were sometimes struggling with, sometimes cool with, sometimes questioning.
It's all documented.
Hey, baby girl, I'm almost done.
Yeah, I'll let you get to your little one, man. I got work that I got to get done. I just needed to holler at you, man. So thank you for reading that book. Is your Cash App on the YouTube or anything?
It should be. Yeah, it is. It's in the description.
All right, cool. I'm going to hit you up right now, then, man.
All right, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Anytime, I do. Other than that, everybody on YouTube, y'all have a great day, yo.
All right. That's Piano Key. All right, guys. Yeah, it's a lot going on. A lot going on in terms of research and just seeing what's out there with our DNA and what's going on with us. And tying it on out for yourself. That's just combining your mind with your heart, seeing what your gut is saying, connecting all those 3 circles and letting whatever come out, come on out. Whether you start lifting up an object or you start lifting up somebody's spirits and making them have a good day. Hey, it's all magic. It's all something cool. What was I about to look up?
Thank you, Ty.
Hey, you're welcome, Exile. Thank you. Thank you for the inspiration. As we're gonna keep moving forward, and as we just keep moving forward in the tiredness, no telling what's gonna be next. No telling what's next. No telling. Actually. But yeah, I'm gonna start practicing. Cause like some things I don't be saying, but I really be thinking that like, hey, I'm just tying on it. But like things and throw it. It was David Blaine was talking about. He has a friend that from the age of 12 to 20, he would just throw dice. That's all he did. Would throw dice all day. So I'm like, he's building a rapport with it, which is what I used to. Let me see if I can look it up. Yeah, what I used to run across in my esoteric studies was a relationship. That's why it's so dark in here. A relationship you build up with an object in order to manipulate it, as I wanted to do, or make it move. I wanted to make it like levitate or make it move to the side or something, or know more about it. So they would say create a rapport with it. And rapport, I just looked it up to get a reminder, because I know what it internally means. It means a close and harmonious relationship in which people or groups concerned understand each other's feelings or ideas and communicate well. So I was getting in this zone of trying to communicate with the card or with a rock or stuff like that, and feeling what it feel, what environment, how it's feeling in the atmosphere. Is like I was just letting the inspirations come. So now I'm dealing with psychedelics and stuff, and really, without even having to put forth the effort, when you that tapped in, it's like, whoa. So now I'm coming back. I don't remember what I was saying, but coming back. I guess I'm coming back. But coming back, it's like all of those experiences that we experience in the psychedelic realm, or that I've been experiencing, or will only say, man, I like getting in I got taking psychedelics, so then it allows me to feel all of these sci-fi thoughts and all these things that I'll be thinking about all the time. Like I'm able to experience them, but then it's like I'm able to experience them all the time once I really shape my thought patterns now off of what I experience instead of what other people are trying to say experiences are. So it really always gets like that a lot down here on this dense earth. Always some Agent Smiths popping up in the weirdest ways and being like, hey, well, that was what we call an anomaly, and that should be researched and put through Scientific America, and then it should be contemplated enough to be adjusted into your everyday experience. It's like, that's a lot. Like, if I get stung, I'm gonna know that a bee is going to sting me, so why I'm gonna attempt the bee again? Or that's too much.
Find your center.
Yeah, find your center. And that center is not as cliche. It is cliche, but you just gotta be comfortable with. Like, that's what I'm saying. You gotta be more comfortable with cliches in your life. Like, that's closer to the magic. That's poetry. Living out your poetry. And not being so complicated and writing an essay about it, but just the tree whistles in the wind, and I hear my next fascination. Something like that. And then it's like, what does that mean? Like, blah, 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 blah. The wind, how strong was the wind? And do trees really talk? Or did the wind blow the tree? Or did the tree blow the wind? It's like, that's too much. It is what it is. Stay as magical as we are.
The tree on the north side of the mountain or the tree on the south side of the mountain?
I don't know, but it matters about what time of the day it was, too. Like, it was the sun in the at the 6 o'clock.
Hey, yo, just time.
Yes, up.
I just got
Yes,
back
sir.
in. I'm still sending you cash. I'm gonna just send you the virtual copy. It gives me an option to email it off to you. I just need your email address. So I sent you a message here on Discord. Just respond to your email and I'll get it sent out to you ASAP.
Gotcha. Is my email in there? I'm gonna put it in the Discord, my email. It should be justtainow@gmail.com. I had to claim that before anybody else did a couple years ago.
See, I'm looking for
I gotta
it.
claim the domain. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for it. Give me one second. Okay, perfect. All right, I got you now. I'm gonna hook it up right now. I'm gonna get it y'all later though, guys.
Word. Have a nice one.
You too,
Later,
brother.
man.
Later, X.
Let's see. Oh, you gotta scratch that. Scratching off, scratch off. I was saving it during the podcast. But yeah, has been a lot of studies going on esoterically in the government and groups all around the world that's testing out ideas that you hear on the Psy Tai Podcast, that you hear Exile tying on, you hear Ty tying on, just talking about, talking about experiencing things. So this outlet, if y'all ever want to jump on, if you ever want to tie it on out, the Discord link is in the description, and y'all can always text or whatever y'all want to do right there in the text box. Just type on away. It could be about anything. Like even about the what's going on in current events. I hope everybody's doing well in your neck of the woods with everything going on with the COVID and the laws being changed around and everything. I heard they trying to cut people power off on if they see that they having parties and stuff. I'm like, that's unreasonable. That's unreasonable. You can fine them and stuff like that, but you can't just take away people's ways of living and stuff. So the times and territories that we moving in this dimension, in order for change to happen, it's going to be, as we see, it's pretty extreme.
All right, last question. So sorry, last question. Do you have a Android or an iPhone?
I got an iPhone Z.
All right, so what I want to send off to you, the virtual book is only available on like Google Play Store. Do you have any? Yeah.
I probably let's see if you can get Google Play Store on. Oh, I used to have a whole virtual clone on my laptop. Hold on. Yeah, Play Store. And they have like their own bookstore.
Yeah.
Is it like Google Play Books?
Yes, it is. It's Playbooks. Yeah.
Cause I'm gonna see if I can do that on the computer. Books in your library. Yeah, I can do it on the I can do it on my computer.
All right. Check this out then.
Where these books come from? I got Nazi Secrets and Occult Branch and the Fabric. Where did I download that? Hold on.
All right. Check your check your library now. You should be getting something via email that says you just got the book that I sent to you. So we can do this all in real time real quick.
Dun, 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 dun. New comment. Send it to Dark Viper 46. I mean, wait, no, yeah. Just time now. Hold on. I got like 5 emails.
Okay.
There it is. Redeem.
There we go.
I have been
now you got the
redeemed by the
virtual
Lord.
copy.
Thank you. There, you have added secret machines to your libraries. Let me show everybody what's going on. Bang, bang.
Beautiful, man. I'm gonna do the same thing for True
Look
Life.
at technology. Why do you think our DNA has said if we want to survive and create this next reality, we got to create the internet? We got to be able to exchange ideas in different ways, and then the ones that catch on, that genome going to keep going. I was just excited when they talk about how the DNA is trying to like live and stuff too, so it creates different things, and we have the experience of the DNA.
Yeah, and they're like, DNA doesn't care about, like, DNA wants to live forever. Consciousness wants to live forever. Like our whole purpose is to breed, is to just keep on procreating. And then there's things that like cancer wants to kill us, but cancer will just die with us. It's like a virus, like a computer virus, man. There's you're gonna read these books more than once, and you're gonna be like, man, it's fucking crazy.
Definitely. Yeah, I got it up right here.
All right.
Everything works. But thanks again, bro. Have a good one.
No problem. You too, guys.
Later. Oh, this one I was just brought up randomly. They were just talking about in the Bible and different lores how the gods and stuff said they was not of this earth. Y'all can see that. Yeah, y'all can see that up there. I'm not gonna read it right now. Or I'm probably gonna start another podcast up in a bit, a little later, because I have a lot of time today. I'm gonna get to my daughter pretty soon. I don't know where her mom really went to, but that doesn't matter. Jacob and the angel. They right here say, so Jacob was left alone, and the man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, let me go, for it is daybreak. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. The man asked him, what is your name? Jacob, he answered. Then the man said, your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men and have overcome. Jacob said, please tell me your name. Why would you ask me my name? And then Jacob, I can't scroll down like that. Then Jacob called the place Tainow, saying, it is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared. Whether much, and this is how the book talk about it, whether much that happens in the life of Jacob is a clear narrative with an unidentifiable cause and effect, linear storyline involving human beings with discernible motives and reactions, Isaac, Rebecca, Esau. When it comes to supernatural elements, they are out of context and seem unrelatable to the general narrative. In this case, someone comes out of nowhere and begins wrestling with Jacob. He is described as a man repeatedly, which indicates that as far as Jacob was concerned, at least initially, he was dealing with a being that was fully corporal. In order to defeat Jacob, the man had to exert a little Vulcan on Jacob's hip, thereby dislocating causing Jacob to limp forever after. There's no rational explanation for any of this, in spite of the fact that most of the rest of the story is entirely rational, or at least credible to a degree. This episode, however, is dropped into the narrative flow, and there must be a reason. And then they start talking about Jacob's ladder. But yeah, guys, Exile, I'm gonna have to tie on out. I'm gonna get to my daughter. She ain't here.
Have a good day.
Hey, I will. You as well. And everybody out there in top space, hopefully y'all have a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special, whatever time that's coming at y'all. Enjoy the energy, and thanks for taking part of it. If you want to donate to the channel, the Cash App is scrolling, and it's in the description, and that will help maintenance the channel, pay the internet bills, and keep everything that I put money into on board. So, and moving forward to whatever possible things going to happen in the future, or if you want to contribute with ideas, stories, future endeavors, we all here ready to make moves whenever, if they're tangible and not too complicated. Not trying to take over the world. I'm not trying to start anything like that, but I am trying to just affect and do whatever. Just talk. I'm just trying to tying it on out, because we all tie, but do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I don't know. Tie it on out. See what happened. Let's see if it connect.